Do you agree that at the core of every human heart is a longing for peace? Do you agree that despite all our noise and distractions, what we truly crave is purpose over possessions? And do you agree that some of the most profound awakenings happen not when we win, but when the emptiness of our victories shatters us awake? If you agree or you're nodding right now, then listen closely, because today I'm about to reveal timeless secrets from one of the most transformative voices of our time, none other than Robin Sharma, lawyer turned sage, best-selling author, mentor to visionaries, CEOs, athletes and creators across the globe, the mind who gave the world, the monk who sold his Ferrari, and the 5 a.m. club. The soul who reminds us that real wealth is not in our wallets but in our wisdom, not in our titles but in our truth. Hi, I'm Austin, and this is Cinemalizer, where real stories ignite real change. Today, I want to take you into a story, a fable, a parable of awakening that has touched millions of lives. It begins not with a breakthrough, but with a breakdown. It begins with Julian Mantle. Picture this man, a high-profile, high-earning lawyer. Three-piece suits sharper than knives. A courtroom warrior crushing opponents with brilliance and charisma. Awards filling his office. Articles in glossy magazines praising his genius. A mansion. A Ferrari, bright red polished perfect. The crown jewel of a material king. From the outside he was untouchable. From the outside he was the model of success. But here lies the truth. Not all that glitters is gold. Behind the perfect suit was a man unraveling. Long hours, endless stress, relationships discarded, sleep sacrificed at the altar of ambition, a man devoured by his own success. And then came that day, the day his body collapsed under the weight of a misaligned life. Right there in court, in the heat of argument, Julian Mantle's heart gave way. A breakdown that became the spark of a breakthrough. Do you see the lesson? Sometimes the universe whispers. Sometimes the universe nudges. But if you refuse to listen, life shouts. And for Julian, that near-death moment was a shout. A call to wake up. A call to strip away the illusions of achievement and discover something deeper, something real. So he did the unthinkable. He sold his mansion. He sold his Ferrari. He abandoned the very world that worshipped him. And he disappeared. Gone. Colleagues whispered. The media speculated. How could a man with everything choose to walk away from it all? But Julian wasn't retreating. He was preparing. He was seeking. And where did he go? To the very edge of the world. The Himalayas. To the land of snow peaks and endless silences. To sages who had never seen a courtroom, but who held treasures far greater than victory. Treasures of inner mastery. And there, high in monasteries where time itself seemed to stop, Julian began again. He discovered rituals of clarity. He practiced simplicity. He heard wisdom never taught in law schools, that a mind untamed is a prison, that a life without purpose is torment, that true wealth is not cash, cars or cases won, but joy, peace, health, focus and service. From this pilgrimage would come the monk who sold his Ferrari, a fable written by Robin Sharma, that yes, begins with Julian Mantle, but ultimately belongs to all of us. Because Julian is not just a character, Julian is a reflection. The Ferrari is not just a car, it is a symbol of what we chase while losing ourselves. The story is not about him, it's about you. Think about it. How many work endless hours, chasing promotions, buying newer phones, bigger houses, flashier cars, yet inside they feel restless, anxious, hollow. How many wear smiles on Instagram but cry in silence at night? How many feed themselves with consumption but starve their souls of meaning? The Ferrari is the illusion every society sells us, that if we collect enough we will be complete. But the truth, possessions do not fill the void, they only distract from it. Julian Mantle discovered what monks across centuries knew. The outer world can never compensate for inner poverty. You can conquer the world and still lose your own soul. But the reverse, conquer your soul, master your mind, align to your purpose, and the world itself bows before you. Robin Sharma calls the mind a garden. Left untended, weeds of fear, doubt, jealousy, envy, regret grow wild. Left unguarded, distractions invade and overtake. But disciplined daily, nurtured, fed with silence, reflection, gratitude, that mind becomes a sanctuary, a source of focus, joy, creativity, and unlimited strength. It becomes the fortress from which you lead a life of peace and performance. And so, Julian transformed. He embraced simplicity over vanity, solitude over noise, service over selfishness, discipline over chaos. He became a man no longer addicted to applause but aligned to purpose. He became wealthy not in possessions but in presence. And when he returned not as a lawyer but as a teacher, a sage, a guide. Now pause. Reflect. Is there not a Julian inside you too? A part of you hungry for more, exhausted by the endless treadmill of doing, yearning for silence, for clarity, for truth. That ache you sometimes feel in your chest, that's not weakness, that's the call, that's your wake-up. Your heart is whispering, what my Ferrari is to you, what illusion must you sell, what distraction must you surrender? Because here's the raw truth. Many of us are drowning silently, professionals, creators, students, leaders, scrolling in endless loops, grinding without grace, racing daily but running in circles. We've bought the lie that more stuff equals more life, and in the chase we lose the only treasure that matters, our souls. Julian Mantle's collapse is not just his story, it is humanity's. It is yours if you're not careful. But his awakening, his choice to walk away from temporary illusions toward timeless truths, that too can be your story. And right now, as your heart beats in your chest, as your ears soak in this story, ask yourself, will I live by illusion or by purpose? Will I sacrifice health, peace, relationships, and joy for applause that fades? Or will I choose to align, to simplify, to awaken? Because the Ferrari will rust, the accolades will fade, the bank balance will rise and fall, but your inner mastery, that divine fire within, that is eternal, this is the awakening of Julian Mantle. His story awakens us, his choices challenge us, and his transformation points to the possibility of our own. Picture your mind as a garden, a sacred field of infinite potential. In this soil lies every seed of thought, every whisper of belief, every echo of memory. From this garden blooms your life, your habits, your choices, your destiny. But here is the brutal truth. What grows is determined not by chance but by care. If you neglect this garden, weeds invade. Fear, doubt, jealousy, anxiety, regret. They coil around your confidence. They choke your vision. They poison every harvest. But when cultivated daily with intention, gratitude, focus, belief, courage, love, then beauty blooms, strength blossoms, peace thrives. Julian Mantle, guided by the monks in the Himalayas, came to understand this timeless truth. The outer world always reflects the inner world. Want success? Purify the inside. Want peace? Train your thoughts. Want power? Discipline your mind. Every breakthrough in your outer life begins as a subtle shift in inner thought. This is not poetry. Think about it. Edison envisioned light before humanity saw it. Carnegie dreamed of steel empires while skeptics laughed. Disney carried castles in his imagination before they ever rose in Florida swamps. Musk saw rockets in the stars while others still debated possibilities. Everything begins first as a thought. Thoughts are seeds, and neglected seeds never sprout. But here's the danger. Modern life is designed to pollute your mental garden. Every scroll bombards you with comparisons. Every headline drenches your soil in fear. Every notification tears your attention into fragments. Weeds grow fastest in neglected ground, and without discipline the weeds win. So ask yourself, do you control your thoughts, or do your thoughts control you? Are you the gardener, or are you the garden left wild? Robin Sharma urges us, start tending your inner field with sacred precision. Limit the weeds entering your gates. Guard your inputs. Read fewer headlines and more timeless books. Trade gossip for gratitude. Replace envy with admiration. When others complain, choose silence. When your finger twitches toward distraction, pause and redirect. Bit by bit, you restore the soil. You defend the field. Your mind, once stormed with weeds, starts to flourish into clarity. But cultivation is not avoidance. It is activation. The monks who guided Julian did not live in luxury, yet their faces radiated joy. They didn't fill their heads with chaos, yet their minds overflowed with clarity. They embraced rituals, daily reflection, deep meditation, visualization of goals, gratitude journals, sacred solitude, tools anyone can wield, yet so few dare practice. Why? Because simplicity feels unfamiliar in a world addicted to complexity. Imagine beginning every day with silence, letting thoughts settle like dust in stillness. Imagine journaling your vision instead of scrolling through strangers. Imagine flooding your brain with gratitude so massive that fear has no oxygen left to breathe. Picture your imagination rehearsing success until your nervous system believes it already real. This is how monks sculpted peace. This is how athletes hardwire victory. This is how leaders sharpen clarity while the rest of the world drowns in distraction. Your potential is not capped by your environment, it is capped by your mind. Victims blame surroundings. Leaders cultivate thinking. Victims feed weeds. Leaders sow seeds. But discipline here is non-negotiable. The same way a gardener doesn't weed once and walk away, you cannot meditate once and expect mastery. You cannot journal once and expect transformation. Daily training builds immortal strength. And Robin Sharma reminds us, small daily improvements, when done consistently over time, lead to stunning results. Little steps, constant cultivation. That's the secret. Even history proves this. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, journaling wisdom in the heat of chaos. Franklin, carving virtues into his routine to master thought. Lincoln, sketching words of hope, even while demons of doubt whispered inside. They tended their inner gardens in relentless, quiet labor, and from that discipline sprouted legacies that still outlive centuries. But understand this too, weeds never stop. Fear will always knock, doubt will always whisper, comparison will always linger at the gate. Mastery is not eliminating them, it's starving them. It's choosing daily not to feed the weeds but to water the seeds. What you feed grows. If you feed fear, fear grows. If you feed doubt, doubt grows. But feed courage, feed faith, feed focus. Those blossom until weeds starve and wither. And never underestimate solitude. Julian Mantle learned to sit in silence until silence became his friend. And in that stillness, chaos died. Most people fear quiet because it reveals what they've been running from, the voices inside, the voids they've cloaked with noise. But silence exposes weeds, and once you see them, you can remove them. Silence is sunlight for the soul. Silence is where your greatest ideas are born. Now ask yourself, what's in your garden right now? Be honest. Is it blooming vibrant flowers of gratitude, courage, vision, or does it crawl with weeds of anxiety, excuses, distraction? And the harder question, what will you do to cultivate it daily? Because here's the raw truth, your outer life will never rise higher than your inner state. You cannot plant weeds and harvest roses. You cannot flood your mind with junk and expect genius. You cannot live enslaved to distraction and expect the freedom of greatness. Robin Sharma teaches, victims make excuses, leaders make improvements. Which one are you? Will you continue letting weeds rule your field? Or will you commit today to the sacred discipline of tending your mind? Julian Mantle chose. He ripped weeds. He planted seeds. He embraced silence, rituals, reflection, and his garden bloomed into a life of joy, mastery, and serenity. The question left is simple. Will yours? This is the meaning of taming the garden of the mind. Protect it fiercely, cultivate it daily, guard it as if your destiny depends on it, because it does. Imagine the world at 5 a.m. The city still asleep, the streets wrapped in silence, the sky painted in the colors of possibility. No phone buzzing, no inbox drowning you, just silence, space, freedom. This is the moment of power, the hour of mastery. And Robin Sharma's boldest teaching is this: own your mornings, and you will own your life. Why? Because the way you enter the dawn sets the trajectory for the day, and the way you live your days compounds into the destiny of your years. Fail your morning, and mediocrity follows. Master your morning, and greatness becomes inevitable. Julian Mantle learned this from the sages of Savannah. They told him, your morning is your sculptor. The first hour after waking is the golden hour of neuroplasticity. When your mind is most malleable, your spirit most open. What you feed yourself then becomes the blueprint of your day. Most people tragically stumble into the morning, scrolling phones, chasing alarms, drowning in digital clutter, and they wonder why they feel fractured, anxious, purposeless. But the masters, the visionaries, the ones who will be remembered, they celebrate the morning like a sacred ritual. Sharma designed it as the 20-20-20 formula. 20 minutes of sweat, 20 minutes of reflection, 20 minutes of growth, 60 minutes that rewire your brain, fuel your body, expand your soul. Picture it. First 20 minutes, move. Intense exercise, raising your heartbeat, flushing away cortisol, igniting dopamine, serotonin, endorphins. In 20 minutes, your physiology transforms, your energy multiplies. You step into the day strong, determined. Second 20 minutes, reflect, stillness, journaling, meditation, visualization, prayer, gratitude. This cleanse of the mind refocuses your intentions. You do not stumble, you strategize. You do not react, you design. You set the compass, choosing direction before the world pulls you astray. Third 20 minutes, grow, read, study, learn. One book, one audiobook, one lecture. 20 minutes of feeding your brain every single day. Imagine the exponential growth. 20 minutes a morning is 121 hours a year. That's 5 full work weeks devoted to learning. That's dozens of books consumed. That's insights separating leaders from followers, masters from amateurs. This simple ritual, sweat, reflect, grow, becomes a force multiplier. Do it for a week, you'll feel different. Do it for a month, you'll think different. Do it for a year, you'll be different. A decade, you will not recognize yourself, but the world will, and it will call you legend. Look at history's giants. They leveraged mornings as fortresses for mastery. Benjamin Franklin rose at dawn to plan virtues. Leonardo da Vinci sketched genius before the sun. Edison's nights and mornings birthed invention that lit humanity. Kobe Bryant trained in the gym while competitors slept. These were not accidents. They were disciplines, deliberate rituals repeated until greatness became inevitable. And let us not be naive. Rising early is not easy. The bed seduces, the blanket comforts, the weaker self whispers, stay. But every day you rise at 5, you strengthen your willpower, your greatest muscle. You remind your soul, I am stronger than my excuses. Slowly, your identity shifts. You are no longer someone who gives in, you are someone who masters. And this is the secret Robin Sharma insists on. Discipline equals freedom. Most run from discipline, mislabeling it as prison. But the disciplined are the freest of all. Free from regret, free from wasted time, free from mediocrity. Every choice to practice discipline compounds into dignity. Every repetition becomes respect. Every single morning mastered adds another brick to the cathedral of your legacy. But do not mistake this ritual as only personal gain. When you rise early, when you sharpen yourself, everyone around you rises. Your family drinks your presence. Your team absorbs your energy. Your community benefits from your clarity. The monk's wisdom in the 5 a.m. club was never selfish. It was service. Service through becoming better. Because when you get better, everyone around you gets better. Sharma teaches, change is hardest at the beginning, messiest in the middle, and best at the end. At first 5 a.m. feels like a war. In the middle it feels awkward, but soon it becomes identity. You cannot imagine living any other way. So ask yourself, why not you? Why not tomorrow? Why not claim the hour that belongs to heroes? Because this is the truth. Every morning you sign a contract. The first hour is the signature that dictates your day. If you choose consumption, distraction, weakness, then mediocrity owns you. But if you choose sweat, reflection, growth, then mastery bows before you. Your rituals create your results. Change your mornings, and you change your life. So rise, rise before the sun, rise while the world slumbers. Rise to claim the silence, to sculpt the mind, to fuel the body, to expand the soul. Rise not for applause, not for money, not for titles, but rise because you are worth it. Your legacy is worth it. Your calling is worth it. Humanity, waiting for your greatness, it is worth it. This is the ritual of mastery in mornings. Daily, disciplined, decisive. Let it be your anchor. Let it be your launch pad. Let it be your rebirth, because he who owns the morning, ultimately, owns his life. There comes a time in every life when the question echoes, what do you stand for? Will you live small, hidden in fear, safe within the fragile walls of comfort, or will you step into courage, resilience, and service? Julian Mantle learned this truth from the sages of Savannah. They whispered into his soul, it is not your possessions, not your trophies, not your applause that defines you. It is the impact you make. Leadership is not about title. It is not about office space, corner desks, or nameplates. Leadership is about example, about energy, about service. Robin Sharma's timeless reminder is clear. Every single one of us is a leader, whether we know it or not, whether we admit it or not, whether we accept it or not. Your influence spreads in every direction. Your choices ripple. Your words mold. Your energy infects. You are leading your family, your peers, your community, your future, even if you carry no official crown. The leader who had no title is not just a book title. It is a declaration of human truth. But what makes a leader worthy of following? Not greed, not ego, not domination. What makes a leader great is service. Think of Mandela, 27 years behind bars, yet when freedom came he chose forgiveness. Service to a nation, not to his pain. Gandhi, frail in body yet mighty in spirit, resisting an empire not with violence but with truth. Mother Teresa, walking among the poorest, seeing Christ in every hungry face. These leaders had no need of glory, yet they glorified humanity. Even in today's age, Oprah, lifting silenced voices to power. Elon Musk, refusing small ambitions, serving humanity's survival on other frontiers. Malala Yousafzai, a child standing against bullets for the right of girls to learn. Leadership is service. Service is love in action. But service demands courage. Courage not to please, but to do what is right. Courage not to follow popularity, but to follow principle. Courage to be different in a world desperate for conformity. Courage to step forward when your knees shake, when criticism reigns, when certainty disappears. Greatness is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act despite it. Understand this. Fear will always be there. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of ridicule. But ask yourself, would you rather feel fear for a moment or regret for a lifetime? Would you rather face the trembling of courage or the torment of never having tried? And when you act with courage, know this, you will fall. You will stumble. You will fail. Resilience becomes your shield. Life will test you not to destroy you, but to strengthen you. Every challenge you face hardens your will, tempers your spirit, polishes your soul. Think of Edison burned by 10,000 failures. Think of Disney bankrupt before children ever laughed at Mickey Mouse. Think of Jobs fired from his own company. Serena Williams dismissed by critics yet conquering the courts. Resilience is the refusal to stay down. The Japanese proverb reminds us, fall 7 times, rise 8. Julian found resilience in silence. The monks taught him, every setback carries a seed of equal or greater opportunity. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the path to success. Each time you endure, you grow. Each time you rise, you prove that pain bends to persistence. And what about you? Are you rising, or are you retreating? When difficulty storms, do you fold into the dark, or do you stand, knowing every drop of rain is watering your growth? Service, courage, resilience, they are not luxuries, they are necessities, and together they rewrite your legacy. Picture this, 2 people leaving Earth. One leaves wealth, portfolios, luxuries. The other leaves memories, kindnesses, lessons, lives touched. Which one lives on in eternity? Which one is remembered? Not the one who hoarded, but the one who served. Robin Sharma reminds us, the purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived at all. When you shift the lens from what can I take to what can I give, everything changes. Your energy multiplies. Your motivation intensifies. Your resilience strengthens, because service creates significance, and significance outlasts success. And this is the paradox. When you serve, rewards come anyway. When you love, abundance follows. When you give, you grow. Not because you chased it, but because giving unlocks the deepest laws of life. You cannot outgive the universe. So yes, pursue goals, pursue achievement, sharpen your craft, but never forget why. You were not born to consume. You were born to contribute. You were not born to blend in. You were born to stand out, not for ego but for others. Your excellence is not just for you. It is for those waiting in the shadows of your leadership. So rise with courage, fall with resilience, serve with love, because leadership is not a choice, it is your responsibility. And when all is said and done, when your life is looked back upon, no one will care how much you had. They will care how much you gave. This is the higher call. This is the whisper of greatness. To live courageously, to fall resiliently, to serve passionately, because the Ferrari fades, but a life of service, that is eternal. One day, your heart will beat for the last time. The breath you are drawing now will have its final echo. The Ferrari, the mansion, the title on your card, the applause of the crowd, it will all vanish into silence. And on that day, only one question will thunder in your soul. Did I live bravely? Did I matter? Julian Mantle discovered this simple truth on the mountaintops of Savannah. Life is not measured in possessions, but in presence, in courage, in contribution, in consciousness. The Ferrari he sold was only a symbol, the symbol of the empty chase. By giving it up, he gained something far greater, a legacy. Legacy is not about monuments built in your name. Legacy is the invisible architecture of lives touched by your existence. It is not what you leave for people, but what you leave in people. The ideas you planted, the kindness you offered, the courage you radiated, the service you gave. That is what outlives you. History whispers this truth over and over. Steve Jobs' devices will evolve, but his insistence on simplicity, on daring to think different, will echo in every innovator who follows. Martin Luther King Jr. may have fallen half a century ago, yet his dream still fuels movements, still liberates nations. Mother Teresa's body is gone, yet her compassion breathes in millions of hearts. Mandela's voice still guides us from beyond the grave. Their wealth, irrelevant. Their titles, forgotten. Their legacy, immortal. Ask yourself right now, what will they say when your name is spoken? Will your obituary list bank balances and possessions? Or will faces light up because your memory inspires courage even when you are gone? Robin Sharma teaches, don't live the same year 75 times and call it a life. Yet millions do. They repeat routines. They postpone dreams. They wait for perfect timing. Delay, 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 until opportunity evaporates, until youth withers, until there is no energy left to pursue what mattered most. Then only regret remains, the silent agony of a soul that realizes too late it was capable of so much more. But you are hearing this now. You are awake enough to ask, what is my legacy? Will I waste these years in safe, invisible mediocrity? Or will I chase mastery, courage, contribution, and love? Julian's greatest awakening was this. Mortality is motivation. When you understand that life is finite, urgency becomes your ally. Every sunrise is a contract renewed. Every day wasted is a theft from your own legacy. The sages taught him, the moment you are born, your march to death begins. The wise do not fear this. They use this. They let mortality sharpen their focus, intensify their choices, inspire their service. So let me ask you, if today was your last day, would you be proud? Or would you ache with unspoken dreams? If the clock stopped tonight, would your story end like a legend or like a lesson? Greatness demands now, not later, not someday. Every act becomes a page in your history. Every decision shapes your remembrance. Every hour wasted dims your echo. You cannot stall your way to significance. You must decide, here and now, to rise, to serve, to love ferociously, to create boldly. Remember this, legacy is not built someday in the future. It is built in the ordinary daily moments of the present. It is in the smile you give a stranger who carries that light into his home. It is in the lesson you pour into your child that shapes his destiny. It is in the excellence you commit to your craft when no one watches. Each act may seem small, but time weaves them into eternity. Most chase immortality through fame or fortune, but immortality is earned not by wealth but by worth, by becoming more than ordinary, by refusing distraction, surrendering mediocrity, shunning fear, and seizing courage again and again until your life itself becomes a sermon of significance. So let this moment be your turning point. Sell your Ferrari, whatever it is for you. The illusion of status, the addiction to approval, the distractions masquerading as importance. Let it all go, and step into essence. Step into the clarity of self-mastery. Step into discipline of dawn. Step into the boundless strength of service. Step into your legacy, because one day your grandchildren will whisper your name. One day your portrait may hang on a wall, and in that moment your influence will either inspire or vanish. Write your story now so they stand taller when they remember you. Craft your life now so the whisper of your name becomes fuel for generations yet unborn. The Ferrari rusts. The applause fades, the wealth dissolves, but a soul ablaze with courage and marked by service that is eternal. So live now, give now, rise now, be brave now, because eternity is watching and your legacy is waiting. This is the legacy beyond the Ferrari. To live so vividly, so courageously, so generously, that death itself cannot erase your presence. To matter, not because of what you owned, but because of what you gave. To close your eyes on your final day smiling, whispering not I wish I had, but I did.